Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. We may know yoga for the mind-body connection, meditation, or even just moving our body, getting more flexible. But what it's also good for is strengthening your body. In this flow today, we'll be focusing on postures and adding little tweaks to them that can help strengthen ourselves. Please hop into something comfortable, something you don't mind getting just a tiny bit warm in. Hop on your mat, find a space, and let's get started. To begin our session today, meet me here in Sukhasana, or easy cross-legged seated position. Cross at the ankles, nice tall spine, open heart space. I'm sitting on a bolster. You can, if you have a bolster, sit on one, or a pillow, or if you just like sitting on the floor, that's okay too. Let the hands rest on the knees. You can close your eyes for this, but we'll begin getting in tune with our breath. Our breath is very important, especially during more vigorous yoga sessions. It'll help us carry through as we move with breath to movements. So begin, inhale, exhale, letting everything go. Now as you inhale, stay tall, and inhale, pushing the belly button out, filling up the belly, and then exhale, belly goes back in. Another inhale, fill the belly. Feel that come up into the ribs as you feel them expand outwards. And exhale, ribs, belly back in. Another inhale, belly, ribs, and chest. Feel the chest lift and rise. And exhale, chest, ribs, belly. Let everything go. Another inhale, belly, ribs, and chest. Hold at the top. Another sip of air in. And exhale slowly through the mouth, letting everything go. Now what I want you to try is just inhaling and exhaling through the nose while pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, just gently. Pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, breathing in and out through the nose is called ujjayi, or victorious breath. I recommend while we're moving in breath to movement, you use your ujjayi breath. It will help carry you through each movement. Now that we've gotten in tune with our breath, let's scoop our knees up, come off of our props, and come down into a table posture, just on all fours. Hips stacked over knees. Shoulders stacked over wrists. And as we inhale, lift up the tailbone, drop the belly, lifting the chin and chest for cow pose. And then exhale, tuck the pelvis. Belly comes up, pointing the spine towards the sky as we wrap the shoulder blades around the rib cage with an exhale, chin falling towards the chest. And then inhale, you can tuck the toes if you like for cow pose, tailbone. Drop the belly, lift the chin, lift the chest. And exhale for cat. Releasing the toes. Chin towards the chest, spine towards the sky, making sort of this rounded A shape with the spine. And then inhale for cow pose. Exhaling for cat. Another inhale for cow. Exhale, one more cat pose. Warming up the spine here, getting in tune with our breath. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Inhale one more time for cow pose. And tuck the toes, send the hips up towards the sky for downward facing dog. Pressing through the earth with the hands. Some space between the ears and the shoulders, making this pointy uppercase A shape with the body. Heels as close to the ground as possible. If you're not quite there, that's okay. Pressing the chest towards the thighs.
And while we're here in our downward dog, we can pedal out the feet if you like to feel a stretch in the calves and the back of the leg, the hamstring area. Look towards the front of your mat, and then little baby steps, just walk the feet in between the hands. With an inhale, rise up into a halfway lift. Making another sort of uppercase A shape with the body, just in a different plane now. And then exhale, fold. And inhale, rise, circle the arms up. Touch the palms overhead, and then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Inhale, hands and arms come up, slight back bend, and then exhale, dive forward, forward fold. This is a great time if you're not using Ujjayi breath, or that breath with the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Inhale and exhale through the nose. This is a great time to start doing it. So with an inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands on the mat. Step back with the left leg. Set yourself up for a high lunge. Be nice and wide with the feet here. Airwing the back foot. That's heel stacked over the toes. Try to keep this back knee straight if possible. And then when you're ready, rise up, bringing the shoulders over the hips and hands up to the sky. With an inhale and then exhale down. Hands to mat. Plant the hands and then step the other foot back into a high plank. Quads tight, glutes tight. Little tuck in the pelvis here. Shift forward and lower down. Not all the way to the ground. It's a chaturanga vinyasa, so flip the toes. Inhale up into upward facing dog. High cobra. And then exhale into downward facing dog. That chaturanga vinyasa is just the flow and movement from the high plank to this downward facing dog, with the upward facing dog or high cobra or low cobra in between, whatever you prefer. Inhale, lift the right leg into the air for three-legged dog, and then exhale. Step that through between the hands. Set yourself up for another high lunge, and when you're ready, rise up, shoulders over hips. Inhale and then exhale down, hands to mat. Step forward with the back leg and then inhale up into a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circle the arms up. Touch the palms overhead and bring the hands down to heart center. Slight bend in the knees as we load up. Drive our hands and arms up. Slight back bend and then exhale, swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. Planting the hands, stepping back with the right foot this time, setting ourselves up for that high lunge again. Remember, arrow the back foot, heel over toes. And then when you're ready and you feel set up enough, inhale and rise. Shoulders over hips. Try to keep the hips pointed straight. And then exhale, fold, plant the hands on the mat. Step back with the front leg, shift forward, lower down, chaturanga vinyasa. Flip the toes, neither upward facing dog or high cobra, whichever you prefer. And then flip the toes, meet me in downward facing dog. Now lift the left leg for that three-legged dog. And with an exhale, you're going to step that foot up between the hands. Setting yourself up for that high lunge again, and inhale, rise, high lunge, exhale down, hands to mat, and then with an inhale, step forward into a halfway lift at the same time, and exhale, fold into a standing forward fold. Inhale, rise, circle the arms up, touch the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. Now, since this is a strengthening flow, we're going to do that one more time. That was a complete sun salutation both sides. So let's repeat. Bend in the knees, load up, drive the arms forward and up, slight back bend, and then exhale. Dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, grow long in the spine, extend through the crown. And then exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back with the left leg. Set yourself up for that high lunge, and when you're ready, inhale, high lunge.
Shoulders stacked over hips, hands up in the air, palms facing each other. And then exhale, back down, hands to mat, step back with that front leg into a high plank. Shift forward, lower down, another chaturanga vinyasa, warming the body. Inhale, upward dog or high cobra, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lifting the right leg, three-legged dog, and then exhale, step that forward between the hands. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Again, hands down to the mat, stepping forward into that halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise with an inhale, circling the arms up, touching the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. One last time, a slight bend in the knees, load up, drive the arms forward and up, bigger back bend here, and then exhale, swan dive forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Plant the hands, stepping back with the right leg this time. Set yourselves up for this last high lunge in this series, and then inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold, hands to mat. Stepping back with that left leg, high plank, shift forward, lower down, chaturanga vinyasa. Flow through and then meet me in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg, three-legged dog. And exhale, step that through between the hands. Set yourself up for that high lunge again. And inhale, high lunge. And exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Step forward with that inhale to halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Circle the arms up with an inhale. Touch the palms overhead, and then exhale, bring the hands down to heart center. Now that we're feeling nice and warm, a little bit looser, let's move on to the next series. So plant the right foot, step back slightly with the left, setting ourselves up for warrior one. Toes can be pointed out about 30 degrees or so. Try to keep the hips straight, facing forward, and then inhale, raise the hands up, palms facing in, a bend in the front knee. Try to keep the back knee straight. Try to keep the heel on the ground. And the ribs, don't let them flare out like this. Try to keep them in so you're nice and stacked. This is warrior one. Bend in the front knee. And then step forward, hands to heart center, feet together, and then sink back into a chair pose. Sink the hips down just like you're sitting down in a chair. Again, trying to keep the chest up, the ribs, make sure they're in. And then slowly begin to twist to the left. See if you can hook the elbow in between the thighs while keeping the knees straight. Or if you're able to, bring it outside of the thigh. I'm inside of the thighs at the moment. Find a nice twist here. Looking up towards the sky, pressing down with the hands. A breath, and then inhale. Back to center, and then exhale, twisting over to the opposite side. Same rules apply. Either hook the elbow in between the legs, keeping both knees pointed straight, or if you're able to, take the elbow on the outside of the thigh. Wherever you're at right now, hold it for a breath. Pressing through the hands. And then inhale, rise up. Bring the arms up, back bend. And then exhale, dive forward, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep the feet together. And then exhale, fold. And then inhale, rise again. Circle the arms up. Touch the palms overhead and bring the hands down to heart center. Same thing, opposite side. Plant the left foot, toes pointed straight. Take a step back with the right foot. Set yourself up for warrior one, a bend in the front knee. Keeping this back leg straight. Make sure the heel is on the ground, so if you need to point your toes out a little bit to do so, That's okay. Hips facing forward, torso nice and stacked, and then when you're ready, arms up. This is warrior one proper. A breath here, and then as you step forward, bring the hands down to heart center, bring the feet together, and then we'll sink back into that chair pose once more. Holding your chair pose here, and on this twist, we're going to try to get a little bit deeper. So when you're ready, exhale, twist. Try to hook that elbow outside of the leg this time. Both knees in line with each other, pointed straight. And if you're here, hooked on the outside of the thigh, open the arms, looking up at these fingers. A breath. And as you inhale, connect the hands. Inhale, come back up to center. A back bend, straighten the legs, and then exhale. Sink back down into a little bit deeper chair pose if you can. Inhale and then exhale as you twist. Trying to get that deeper twist. If your elbow is hooked on the outside of the thigh, both knees pointed straight, extend the arms. Gazing up at the fingertips. A breath, and then when you're ready, with an inhale, unravel your twist. Straighten the legs, back bend, and then sink down into chair pose once more. Extend the arms overhead. Hold the breath here, hold it, feel the burn in the legs. And then straighten the legs, dive forward, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step back into high plank. Shift forward, lower down, another chaturanga vinyasa. Flip the toes, high cobra or upward facing dog. And then flip toes again. Press back into downward facing dog. Now if you need to catch your breath from here, you can go into a child's pose and catch your breath. But if you're ready to follow along, inhale, lift the right leg, three-legged dog, and then exhale. Step that foot between the hands. Set yourself up for a very proper high lunge. Try to keep this back leg straight. Try to keep the foot arrowed. Nice and strong in this front leg here. And then when you're ready, inhale, rise up. Exhale, bring the hands down to heart center as you sink down in your high lunge. And then inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, down, hands to heart center. Inhale, rise up, connect the arms. Exhale, down. Two more, inhale. And exhale, hands to heart center. Once you get down, circle the arms, press up. And then hands to heart center. Open yourself up from here into warrior two. Front knee, front toes pointed forward. Try to get nice and deep in your warrior. Find space through the hips here. This back foot facing the opposite side of the mat, the side of the mat. Try to stay nice and strong. Hips or shoulders stacked over hips. Arms out, really reach the arms apart, gazing over these front fingers. And with an inhale, reverse your warrior. Try to leave the lower body where it is, just moving the torso. And then exhale, shift forward into extended side angle. Should be one line from this wrist down to this ankle. And then back up to warrior two. And then windmill the arms down to the mat. Plant the left hand as we take a twist over this bent knee. And exhale down. Plant the hand. Step back into high plank. Shift forward. Lower down. Another chaturanga vinyasa. Flow through. And then meet me in downward facing dog. Again, if you need to take a second, collect yourself. Either stay here in down dog or go into child's pose. Take a few exhales through the mouth. And if you're ready,
Inhale, lift the left leg for three-legged dog, and then exhale. Step that through between the hands. Set yourself up for a really good high lunge here. Trying to keep this back knee straight as you rise up. Toes, or heel over the toes, arrowing the foot. And then when you're ready with an inhale, rise up into high lunge. And as you bring the hands down to heart center, sink down in this high lunge, and then inhale, rise up. And then exhale, sink down, hands to heart center as you come down. And as you come up, circling the arms up, touching the palms overhead, and repeat that 3 more times. Straightening the back knee and then bending as you come down. Once more, inhale. Adding some strength to this high lunge. And then once you find back at center, open yourself up for that warrior 2, opposite side. Opening the arms. A nice deep warrior 2. Really nice bend in this front leg here. Front toes pointed straight. The outer edge of the foot is parallel with the mat and the toes are pointed towards the side of the mat. Really pull yourself apart with the arms here, stacking the shoulders over hips, open in the heart space, but open in the space behind the heart as well. And then when you're ready, inhale, reverse your warrior. I like this bind behind the back. You can simply just let the hand slide down the knee and then shift forward into extended side angle. One line from this wrist to the ankle. In this arm, you can let the forearm rest on the thigh. You can open up here, or you can kind of pry the elbow against the thigh, opening your shoulders up more. Coming back up into warrior 2, and then windmill the arms down. Planting the right hand on the mat and taking the twist over the bent left knee. And exhale down, plant the hand. Step back into high plank, shift forward, lower down, chaturanga vinyasa. Flip the toes, high cobra or upward facing dog, and then meet me in downward facing dog. Again, another opportunity to take a few breaths if you need it. But if you're following along, come down to a table posture. I like to grab a blanket for my knees for this next series. We're going to go into camel pose. So set your props up however you need. Knees on the mat, tucking the toes, coming up onto the shins. Your hands, bring the palms just above the butt where the lower back and the butt meet. Fingers down, thumbs pointed away. Really opening the heart space here. And we're just moving from the hips. We're not falling back, bending the knees. You're just trying to move from the hips here as we're going to come back. So inhale, let's grow long. And then exhale as you shift back, trying to keep the front of the thighs straight. Take a breath once you find your depth. And then inhale. Back forward. We'll take a couple more rounds of that, trying to get a little bit deeper each time, opening the heart more each time if you're able to. Inhale, grow long, and then exhale, tipping yourself back into camel pose. If you're lacking mobility in the lower part of the spine like I am, that's okay. Try not to reach back with the neck. Try to be open in the heart space. And then inhale, come back forward. Collect yourself, recenter. If your toes weren't tucked, you can tuck the toes. If you like to have the shoelace side of the foot on the ground, you can do so as well. Find where you're comfortable and inhale. We'll grow long again. And then exhale, really open the heart space. If you're able to look at the room behind you, that's a pretty good camel pose. Inhale, come forward.
And then this is only optional. This is a progression of this pose. If you're able to do it, great. If not, just simply stay here with your arms on your back. But if you're able to shift back, bringing the hands onto the heels, really opening the heart from there, really looking back at the wall behind you. And slowly bring yourself forward with an inhale. And then down into table posture. Bring the knees wide on the mat and sink back into child's pose, a reverse posture for camel pose. And we're bending the spine the other way. That's a great opportunity if you want to take some breaths out through the mouth just to let go of some heat. This is quite a vigorous practice, and that's on purpose. We're finding areas of the body we can strengthen just with our normal postures. If you're breathing through the belly, you feel how the breath presses against the thighs and then moves to the lower back. I find this sensation quite nice. I find it massages my lower back. After your next exhale, inhale and look forward onto your mat, and you're going to keep your chest as low to the ground as possible as you slink forward down into or onto your belly, forehead on the ground. You can leave the mat or leave the blanket if you have a blanket where it is for now. As you inhale and press yourself up to high cobra. And exhale down. Another high cobra, pressing down with the shoelace side of the foot, pressing up with the hands. And then exhale back down into child's pose. Again, look forward on the mat. Keep the chest as low as possible as you slink yourself down onto your belly, pressing up into high cobra. And then round your back for cat as you sink back into child's pose. Let's run through that one more time as we look forward. Try to slink down, keeping the chest as low as possible. Shoelace side of the foot on the ground, pressing down with the feet, pressing up with the hands. Open the heart for high cobra. And then round the back for cat, and then sink back into child's pose. Come up into table posture. Remove any props off to the side. Swing the legs around. Come onto your bottom. Soles of the feet on the ground. Bring the feet together, knees together. And then balancing on the tailbone, float the feet off the ground. This is boat pose. You can have your arms out like this. If you want to turn up the treatment, have the arms overhead. Inhale, grow long, and then exhale, bring the knees to chest. If you're looking to regress that, bring the arms back down to the side. Inhale, grow long. And then exhale, crunch up, knees to chest. Try to keep the feet off the ground here. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, knees to chest. Really squeezing in these lower abs here. Inhale, grow long, and then exhale, knees to chest. Once more. Inhale, and then exhale. Soles of the feet on the ground. Arms out straight as you roll down onto your backs, nice and slow. Bring the palms to the ground. Bring the heels about as close where you can brush the side of the heel with your fingertip. And then inhale, press the hips up for bridge pose. Really squeezing the glutes here, a little bit of hamstring action, and then exhale, roll yourself back down to the mat. Now point the fingertips towards the ceiling, raise the arms, and then finish all the way, arms overhead. And then exhale as you bring your arms all the way back down. So now we're going to do rolling bridge. As you press your hips up, you'll bring your arms up and overhead, and at the point where your hips reach their highest is when the fingernail side of the hand can touch the floor. And then exhale, we'll all come down together in this rolling bridge, and once your hips touch the floor, your fingertips should touch the floor. So exhale, let everything go, and then inhale, press the hips up as you roll the arms up. Remember, the hips should reach their height as the fingertips touch the floor above you, and then exhale. Roll everything down. Inhale, rolling bridge, and then exhale. Put everything down. Try to keep the knees straight as you go through these. Inhale, another rolling bridge. And exhale, roll everything back down, nice and slow, nice and easy. Trying to let the hips touch the ground the same time your fingertips touch the ground. One last rolling bridge as we inhale. Roll through and then exhale. Let everything go. Keep one knee bent, the left knee bent. Extend the right leg. Place the right ankle over the left knee. Arms come out to a T, and then let the knees fall over to the left side. In this figure 4 twist, you can bring the knee closer to your armpit. You can press the knee away. If you'd like to grab the cat's tail, as it's known, bend with the left leg, grab the left heel, and pull that left heel toward the glutes. If you like a side body stretch, you can extend the left arm overhead, or you can leave the arm at a T and tilt the chin towards the right shoulder. Plenty of options here. Find what's comfortable for you and take a few deep breaths. Slowly release any modifications you've made. Turn your chin back towards the center. Release the cat's tail if you had a hold of it. And then with an inhale, float the knees back to center. And then take a twist to the opposite side. A little bit different sensation here. Deep breaths. We won't be here nearly as long. After your next exhale, float those knees back to center. Grab in between your legs in this little triangle here, and then on the outside of the thigh, interlace the fingers as you fall back and enhance the stretch that's on the right glute here. Try to keep the shoulders on the ground if possible. Extend the left leg and exhale. Let it go. Put the foot back, or the sole of the foot back on the ground. Extend the right. Place that sole of the foot back on the ground. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side, extending the left leg, placing the left ankle across the right knee, arms out to a T, and then let everything fall over to the right side. Sole of the left foot on the ground, outer edge of the right ankle on the ground. Same options apply. You can grab the cat's tail here. You can extend an arm overhead, leaving the chin straight, or you can leave this arm out to a T and let the chin float over to the left side. Many options for modifications. Do what feels comfortable for you. Maybe you like different modifications on this side compared to the other side, and that's okay. Find what feels right for you and then come to stillness. We'll be here for just a few breaths. Start to release any modifications you may have made. Return the chin back to center, arms back out to a T as you float the knees back up to center, and then exhaling, twisting them to the opposite side. Again, we won't be here nearly as long. Just take those fulfilling inhales and then exhaling, letting everything go. After your next exhale, inhale, float everything back to center. Reaching the left hand through this triangle you're making with your leg here. Right hand on the outside of the right thigh. Interlace the fingers and then fall back. Getting a nice stretch on the left glute this time. Trying to have the shoulders on the ground. And when you're satisfied, extend the right leg, pointing the feet towards the sky, and then exhale, rebend. Let everything go. Sole of the foot on the mat. Extend the left leg, and then place the sole of that foot on the mat. Slide the heels down the mat, come into Shavasana. Let the feet fall out. Palms facing up. Have some room between the arm and the side body. After a vigorous practice like this, it's always good to end in Shavasana just to get the body back to just a relaxing rhythm. Let your breath run wild. Don't have to think about it anymore. Start to relax the body, starting with the feet. Relaxing the toes, feet, let the heels rest heavy against the earth. Moving up the leg, feel how the back of the leg rests heavy. Maybe there's some space underneath the knee. Let the hips rest heavy on the earth. Notice the belly rise and fall with each breath. Allow the shoulders to rest heavy on the mat, the back of the arm, the back of the hand. Feel the air pass through the fingers. And notice how the head rests heavy on the earth. Let the eyes sink back into their orbits. The tongue fall back into the lower palate. Imagine the brain sliding to the back of the skull. Start to bring awareness back to your body. Visualize the toes, fingers, top of the foot, bottom of the foot, back of the hand, your palm. Bring some small movements to the toes, the fingertips. You make a fist with the hands, with the toes. Touch the thumb to each finger. Roll the wrists, roll the ankles. Just grow your movements. Just waking the body back up after the Shavasana. When you're satisfied with your movements, extend the arms overhead, point the toes, feel length throughout the whole body, and then come back down to center, arms down by the side. Bend one knee, place the sole of the foot on the ground, and then press off that foot. Come on to your side. Just preparing the body with slow movements. Letting the body catch up in this sort of fetal posture. Preparing ourselves. We don't want to just sit up to a seated position right from Shavasana. Then you might get lightheaded, get dizzy. We don't want that. We want to gradually make our way back up. When you feel ready, and only when you feel ready, press yourself up into an easy cross-legged seated position, also known as Sukhasana in Sanskrit. Walk your heels back. Walk your hips back. Come onto your sit bones, not just on the meat of your butt. Nice tall spine, cross at the heel. It's been a really good Shavasana. I can't do words right now. Open heart, level chin. This is what we can do with our normal postures. We can turn them up just a little bit. If you notice, as we did the breath work in the high lunge, We did multiple rounds of chair pose, multiple rounds of sun salutation. These are just little things we can do to just turn up the treatment a little bit. Just get a little bit more strengthening out of our yoga work. Doesn't always have to be about flexibility, doesn't always have to be about lengthening our body. It can be vigorous as well without having to be a dedicated hot yoga. I really hope you enjoyed this practice. Let me know how it went down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Let's take one last breath together to close out this practice. And with an inhale, we'll circle the arms up. Touch the palms overhead and bring the hands down to heart center. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste and thank you.